Two unemployed actors, two unemployed actors. They're just between projects.
Welcome back to Two Unemployed Actors. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
And heaps to... Look, I was going to say we've got lots on. We have had lots on because I know I even did a teaser up to last week when we were supposed to do an episode. I think I put it out early in the week and it was like, you know, what crisis is going to happen to Max's play the week before, because there's always something the week before. And, you know, will Sam survive, what I put, the feature film and survival job and podcast? Well, the answer is no, actually. We both didn't survive because we've come to record day and I'm struggling through it. And you just driven back that day from a late shoot?
I driven back that day from Newcastle and I just completely forgot that we had it on.
And I'm trying
Max
to
totally
record.
knew. Max totally knew. He was like, hey, there's a spot right outside for you. And I'm like,
Which is a nice way of reminding you that perhaps you needed to be somewhere, i.e. in that parking space out front. But anyway, I kind of knew because you've been so busy filming and not just having a role on a feature film, but having it filmed, you know, a couple of hours away from where we are. So
I still should have been here.
I know. And then and I remind you. And then I'm trying to record it on my own with Fred going off because it's been raining, so he's been inside dog for a while.
Yeah, and that photo you all saw of Fred standing by the door waiting for me.
True story.
I never arrived, so he was there for a whole week.
I just guilted Sam by setting it to him. Because as soon as I start setting up this studio equipment, like literally I'll put one pair of headphones on the table and Fred knows you're coming. So he's like, he's on. He is on and he's barking at the door and waiting for you. So, which then leaves another 10 minutes of him being an absolute hypo dog until he calms down and we can actually start broadcasting. But anyway,
but he's been pretty good. He calms down once we press record, almost like he knows. Well, maybe I spoke.
It's been a few years.
It's been a few years. Hey, well, spoke too soon.
So you're welcome to see Fred try and take over the show on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe on our social media platforms. You can stay up to date, and we will keep you up to date. But like what happened last week, we're going to talk about this, and this, but then maybe not if we're too busy, as happened.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been flat out with the play. You've been flat out with the feature film. We're going to update you on exactly what has been keeping us busy. Take it away, Sam.
Chuck me in at the deep end. No, yeah, it's been good. I mean, actually, on the topic of that. Next week will probably only be you because I'm shooting one last time.
Okay.
So yeah, I head back up on the 28th and it's almost finished and we're all very sad about it.
Because it's been a while. When did you start shooting? Mid-January?
Mid-Jan.
Right.
Yeah, so it's been a while, spread over a few months just because of, I think I spoke about the shooting in blocks. I went for another audition for another feature film.
Okay.
Which would start shooting in June, so like 2 months off, straight back into it, which would be bloody awesome.
Yeah.
And both Jess and I auditioned for that, and like self-tape wise.
Great.
And then today we got an email saying they want us in for an in-person audition.
Both of you?
Both of us.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's very
You're
exciting.
like a dynamic duo. You have to just keep auditioning together. It's working.
It seems to be working. But it wasn't together like on the self-tape. We just both auditioned.
Submitted. Yeah, independently.
Which is pretty cool.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's exciting. It seems like a really great film as well. Mm-hmm. Independent as well. Small budget, but still great.
Yeah.
So
you're back up again next week to film. How many more days shooting have you got left on the current feature?
So there's 3 more days of shooting, and I've got 2 more. So I'm shooting on the 29th and 30th.
Yep.
And shooting wraps on the 31st.
Okay.
And then we have the wrap party on the 2nd.
Have you had a very important date? Yeah.
Very important.
Have you had a mix of like day shoots and night shoots and that sort of thing? How have you managed that with the travel? Like, did you stay overnight there?
So each block we stay there.
Yep.
Overnight. Cam has put us up in a hostel.
Yep.
All together, which is really cool, and which it's actually a funny story. It's right next to the Novotel.
Okay.
And so Jess and I, because it's like male and female dorms.
Yeah, yeah.
When Jess had to shoot, which was a lot of the time.
Yeah.
me and her would be in like a double room.
Yeah.
Just so she wasn't with random people.
Yeah. And it's nice. And if you've got an opportunity to be a bit more comfortable, why not? Because it's not often you get to work together.
Exactly. And so we arrive and the guy's like, all right, you guys are in room 2 this time. We're usually in room 4. And he's like, it's got the best view in the hostel. And we walk up and we look out the window. It's the Novotel. Best view, what we could have had.
It's like, that's the next budget, hopefully.
Yeah. And so the first shoot was a night shoot. It was the party scenes. And they'd go till like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Most nights.
They're hard to film, the party scenes, I find, because, I mean, you can't have the music going because you need dialogue. And you've got to have everyone sort of moving and mingling together.
Yeah.
And when it's a limited budget, you want to get the shot where there's lots of people mingling, but you can't keep using the same people.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had 40 extras. So he was able to mix people around.
Okay.
And like, because it's a party in a house, you're going to have the same people around. You just can't, if you switch between 2 shots,
just got to watch
same
the
person
shots
in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With the lighting setups for the shots, I think they sort of take the longest, if I'm right, for those sorts of... Because you've got to be able to make sure you've got everything organised, like foreground, background.
I think lighting, for people who don't really work within the industry, even some people who do, I guess, don't realise how important lighting is.
Yeah.
Like, I know that when I started out just shooting my own films at home, which I was very young, but lighting can make or break your shot.
Absolutely.
It can look amateur or professional just from moving one light, you know.
And this is before colour grading, so not to be confused with doing something in post to make it look different. The best quality in and the best lit scene in is going to give you even more options when it comes to colour grading.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you know, what's the focus of that frame? Is it everything in the foreground, or is it a mix, or, you know, is it just one particular subject, one particular person in the foreground? Then how you light that is going to really... And I guess the reason I'm bringing it up is because you haven't got a huge budget. You've got lots of people in a small space. You've got, you know... a bit of equipment lying around and stuff. Like, it's just, it's going to be hard to physically take the time to light certain scenes.
And I mean, these guys, the Tommy Rock Productions, they're awesome, and they're professional, and they get their shots done and change shots very quickly,
right?
Which is really cool, and they have quite a small team as well. So,
okay, so they're used to working together, and they know. Yeah, I mean,
or if you can get a crew that work together all the time, you're perfect.
It's great, isn't it? Because it's amazing how much time you can save, which is so important for when you've got a small budget. Just by having the right crew that really know what they're doing and they've worked together before.
Definitely.
Because bringing together lots of people with limited experience, as you generally are sometimes when you've got a smaller budget, it just takes so much longer to get stuff done.
And also, once you've got people who've worked together, you understand how everyone else thinks and everyone else's personalities.
Yeah.
I've been on sets where people are gnashing heads because one person will say one thing and the other person will be like, no, I think it would be better like this. It's like...
It's funny, isn't it? Because you all want the same outcome, right? The best work that represents all the work you've done.
Yeah.
But just when you've got a group of people together, you get different personalities in the mix. You're absolutely spot on.
And definitely, like, if you think, like, 100%, so Joel, who is our, like, lead cinematographer,
right,
who owns Tommy Rock, he'll suggest something to Cam, like a shot, or we should do it like this.
Yep.
And Cam will be like, great. And that's awesome, because Cam's a flexible director and an awesome director.
It's good because that shows, I mean, you trust your cine and to get... And it might be, look, let's experiment. Let's let's try it. If it doesn't work, then we can
100%.
go back to what we've planned. At least we've got a plan. But
definitely. And then you also need that balance of, if the director's like, let's do it like this.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, that could work. Don't waste time by trying to, you know. And that just comes with experience and professionalism, I guess, as well, right? In
relation to your role, did you have time to rehearse together, like in different scenes, and actually block them out?
Yeah. So Cameron always wants us to come up a day earlier.
Right.
And it's really lovely. Like, with such a...
So the way they've planned it, you've got certain scenes shot, you know, next week, and you're in a couple of them. So you're all, instead of rehearsing like the week before everything, you go through everything.
Yeah.
In pre-production, he'll get you up just before the scene's shot the day before and go through it and block through it.
So pretty much on such a low budget as well, and able to get so close with like everyone in the cast.
Yeah.
So we go to Cam's house for dinner every night when we're up there, which is really, really awesome and lovely of his parents.
Yeah.
But so every night we'll rehearse the scenes the next day before.
Okay.
Very briefly. And it will be quite late in the night. It'll be after dinner. We've drunk a bit.
Yeah.
And we'll rehearse the scenes. And it's kind of like a little bit blocked out, but mostly running through the lines.
Right.
And then we get on set and Cam will just run through it real quick and then we'll do it. And it seems to be working really well.
Okay.
But
that's good. Is the cinematographer there as well when you're doing that blocking?
Sometimes here's the cool thing. So yeah, with a lot of projects that I've been on, and I'm sure you've been on, you have kind of like a whole rehearsal for a few days or once a week leading up to the shoot. Yeah. And the cinematographer's there because he or she is learning where the director wants the shot from or angle. I don't actually know if Cam and Joel did that ages ago. But he's not always there, and he's actually not really in the rehearsal area. Okay. But when we get on set, Cam seems like he's a very organized person, so he's got his shot list down, he's got everything he wants, and I think he explains to Joel beforehand. And because Joel's also so professional, they just jump straight into it, and it's okay. And that he know, like they know what each other wants.
That's great. It sounds really like the right sort of balance, but in pre-production versus taking the time to block and that during production, because it's a different shoot, isn't it? Like normally you'd have a few weeks pre-production. Yeah. You'd have that's it. You've got back-to-back shooting. Yeah. And then post-production, whereas it's broken up a bit more into blocks, as
which
you say.
I think is why it seems to be working like this. Because most of the time on set, Cam will just be like, all right, so we got two more. We got a wide here, and then these two close up that one, close up on that one, and Joel will know exactly what he wants.
That's great.
Jump into it, and all he'll ask is like, guys, be in your first position.
It's just a weird way. Like it's just a weird way of doing it. Whereas it could be even more expensive if the larger budgets are done that way. But because you have to work around the smaller budget, availability, etc. Yeah. Doing it in blocks has sort of made it work.
100%. And I also think at times that can help with acting because you do want it to seem reasonably fresh. You don't want to over-rehearse as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm a bandit for making lots of notes on the script during rehearsals and blocking notes. Yeah. And then also contradicting myself many times over in those notes and making them at sometimes you want various degrees of illegibility.
Yeah. I mean, you want it to look natural and what's the word?
Well, I know. It's that balance between... Fred, calm down. It's that balance between not making it look too rehearsed, but also rehearsing enough
100%.
So that you know the blocking, you know your lines, you're off book, everything else, so that you can relax enough in the moment to be fresh and to react. Fred, relax. Champ, you're making me work hard in the edit.
100%. And I think that as an actor, it's your job to also know your shit before you get on set. Exactly. Because most of the time on set, the rehearsal's for the crew. Yeah. And I think that's really important. And then you run it a bit with your fellow cast members and stuff, Yeah. But yeah, it's been an awesome experience. Very different one because, like I've said before, it's my first feature film.
Yeah. So what's happening with Not Today?
Not Today I think I spoke about it, has gotten into an indie short film festival in Cannes. And it's being streamed right now until the 28th. Okay. So I think we're in for like best foreign film. Nice. I think that's what we're in for. So that's very exciting, and that's the world premiere in Europe. It's pretty awesome.
That's great.
So hopefully it goes other places. He's applied for others, but we're not going to hear back for a little bit.
But all those festivals are important for exposure. It's great. Yeah. Some are better than others. I know that there's just so many, and to pay to go into you can spend too much time and too much money sometimes on just trying to navigate that route. It's great to have someone to lean on who's experienced and knows which are the right ones and what they're looking for.
100%.
To be able to and the technical requirements too. Yeah. To be able to navigate that, because you can waste so much time and money otherwise. But
definitely.
yeah, no, the right one's absolutely great for exposure for everyone
100%.
involved.
And I've started also. I created a crew CV almost. So I have a friend who's kind of doing a lot in the industry now. She's just working on quite big films, like as a crew member, you know, like talent driver or COVID officer or whatever. So through her, she's helped me develop this CV, and now I'm on. There's like a crew. Australia needs a crew professionals or whatever on Facebook.
Right.
So applying for heaps of those, and they pop up every day.
Yeah.
And if I can jump from crew role to crew role while also auditioning, you know, obviously being an actor, that will help me get out of hospitality.
Indeed. And then your survival job can be closely related to what you're doing, and you know, more experience behind the set's going to help you in front of the camera. So
100%. And connections as well.
That's great.
Well.
That's great.
What have you been up to?
Yes.
Enough about me for 17 minutes.
Tomorrow is opening night for Lipstick, and it's a short run, 4 nights. Building up to it for quite some time because of the COVID. Been sitting on the script for a while. And there's 4 plays in the festival. That's no Intermission Festival, so all 1-act plays. 2 were last week.
Yep.
And had great reviews. It was good, well received. And then this week, and the way it's structured, like for example, tomorrow the call time for me, I think is something 6:45 or something. I think I can't remember now. I better check because that's kind of important. But basically, we're on first, and then there's a short changeover, and then the next play's on.
Oh yeah.
So literally, we've all got assigned roles, and then we jump in from both, you know, both crew and cast. To change over the set and dress the set, and then it's ready for the next play. Because, I mean, it'd be nice to have more time because you know what it's involved. It's involved enough with one play, right? But when you've got 2 in a short period of time, one night, you've got 2 plays that are very different with very different sets.
Yeah,
it's a lot of pressure on a time when you probably want to spend more time. You know, as a cast warming up together.
Yeah.
You know, walking around the space maybe. Sometimes you want to feel more comfortable in the space. Your set's fine. Double check you've got everything in the right area backstage. You know, I've got a couple of costume changes through different doors. So is everything in the right spot? You know, take a deep breath and then lights go down. Like, you know what I mean? But it's not. It's full on. The thing is, we did a dress run, a full dress and tech run for the benefit of lighting and sound on Sunday. So we're doing it as though it's a real thing. Got my hair and makeup.
You feel ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good.
And but what's interesting on so many different points, like first of all, to run through that, there was a bit of chaos involved, and we're behind. Bump-in days always, you know, it's never on time. And bear in mind, we're bumping in 2 plays. Yeah. And for bumping day, for those that aren't familiar, like, you know, you basically you've got you get together. We might do a speed run together, just lines with the cast, some further notes from the director. Maybe we've got one co-director one assistant director as well as one director. We might get some notes from the producers, but generally they're flat chat. Then we've got a Q to Q where we'll stand in the space and literally you just keep your mouth shut and you're moved around like a prop as lights and sound go through their moments of, okay, when Max says this, the lights do this and the sound does that, you know.
Yeah, and they just need you for reference and colour and everything.
Exactly. So, and that could take a bit of time, but
it's the most stressful part.
Yeah, for other people. For me, it's okay. I just like
everyone's
do what I'm told.
Do what I'm told. You know.
Exactly. And that's the other interesting. So I guess with the chaos that's going on, bumping in 2 plays.
But you're only in one, right? There's other people for the other one. Yeah.
There's chaos going on, and although you might have to do things for your play, you can't because things are happening for the other. So, like, you know, there's only one sound booth. You know, there's only one set of lights. Like, you know,
that's
you can't.
Hard, yeah.
So there is chaos, but because the play is a farce, it's a comedy farce. The chaos. Like, you know, you've got this energy on the stage and it's just constantly bouncing around.
It works for the
play,
right?
Yeah, it complements the fact that we're about to then do a tech run for a comedy farce. So it's like, that's okay. For me, you know, my character, the first part of the way he's introduced into the play is more subdued.
Mm-hmm.
Then my energy goes up. So my warm-up is mainly voice and just a little bit of physical stretch, that sort of thing, just to be present and relax and be in the moment. And that's it. I don't go and hype myself up, and we're doing all these... Because there's so many different exercises, and it's been great to learn different people's favourites in rehearsals, because my energy doesn't start there. My energy is rather subdued, and I find it easier to ramp up than to ramp down, so to speak. So while... in between my first and second cues to go on, I'm then warming up to the point where my heart's beating. I'm, oh my God, moment for my character.
Yeah.
Holy, oh my God. And then the energy is up. And then my character also, in the last half of the play, goes through a shift where he becomes a very different character.
Oh, okay.
From less reserved, more flamboyant, more over the top. And so there's another energy shift in amongst all of the chaos that's on stage with the seven of us. It's it's hectic.
Is this your second theatre show?
Third. But
close.
first with an independent theatre production company, which is great. So it sort of steps it up a notch.
What were the other ones again?
I did with Sharkbite Theatre a play about Australian farmer.
Right.
And it was a play with songs. That was, more independent, but I'd say more community theatre to independent with Sharkbite Theatre. And then prior to that was community theatre doing, oh my God, I was Felix in The Odd Couple. No.
Hey, I'm here.
Felix in The Odd Couple. So... it's great to step it up a notch, and really with the talent involved, it's great because I'm learning from that. Plus, I get to do an original work, hasn't been done in Australia before, and it's a comedy, and I love it, and the character is just so much fun. Like I said, it's like playing two different characters.
Yeah, cool.
So it's really great. But what's interesting is watching everyone else change as they get closer to other castmates. Adapt as it gets closer and closer to Tech Run and through Tech Run, and how the nerves hit everybody. It's really interesting. I guess with experience, with life experience and the rest of it, and certainly in 20 years of sales, negotiations and professional sales management, oh my God, in the corporate world, I'm pretty comfortable in a room full of terrorists. I could sit there and sip tea and with a low heart rate, so
oh my God.
I'm kind of going into it and I know what to expect. Yeah, bump in day, be there at my call time, and just write off the rest of the day and just be ready to help where I can.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Nice.
I'll learn stuff, get some coffee, get some food. You know what I mean? But if you go in going, this is the schedule, we need to stick to schedule. I'm going, I have to do that. I have to warm up before I do the no. Because nothing goes to plan.
Yep.
You have to be able to be flexible.
Yep.
And as much as I like to be organised, that, Sammy, I like to be organised. But you just be organised to the point where you can let go.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to, I found myself as a carpenter fixing doors to a frame.
Yeah.
Also, you know what I mean? And it was okay.
Be organised to not be organised.
Exactly. Be organised to the point where you can just let go and do whatever you need to do, knowing that you can do the cue to cue, you can have your warm up, you can interact, you can be the ear to others that need to talk to you about what's troubling them at the moment, whether it be related to the performance or not. And then, of course, have a great run. With some great feedback. And the benefit of having two plays, they were the audience for us and we were the audience for them.
Yep.
So that helped because we really weren't sure where the laughs are going to be. And I guess it can be different each night too.
Sometimes they're in spots you wouldn't even expect.
Exactly. But it's going to be fun. We're going to have fun with that. So, and I can't wait. Once this week's out, so next week, you know what? I might wait until you're back so I can tell you all about, get your reaction to all about the character and the play and what happens in it.
Sure. How many audience members does it see?
We're performing to 50 because it's the Chippen Street Theatre, which is a great space. It's where it's actually a school during the week, theatre school. But we've got it for 4 nights this week. 50 is the maximum capacity, not through COVID, fire safety. That's how many you can fit in.
Yep.
How many bums on seats.
Can't push more people.
Interesting spanner in the works or opportunity, I thought, was up until 2 weeks ago, we were rehearsing and blocking to perform traditionally on a long stage to an audience in front of us. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago, we found out it's going to be a U shape. where
always
you're
find out
performing to and the other thing we knew was, and bear in mind, we've rehearsed in my dining room, for a few weeks we've rehearsed in someone's lounge room, like the spaces have been quite constrained, so to do a full tech run in the space and find out just how many steps it is to get from one door to the other, and like that was really it was challenging for some. For me, just being over the top and running in, and my character moments weren't triggered by those sorts of blocking technicalities. So it just gave me more room to play.
Did you have you done a dress rehearsal yet?
That was it. That was it
was a mix of
it
tech
was everything.
and dress.
It was everything. Absolutely. So it was everything.
What a long day.
Because we did a bit of dress on the Friday night. Mm-hmm. So we had rehearsals as normal Thursday. Friday we did a bit more of a dress. Cause my character's a handyman, so I've got this full size tool belt, and I've packed it with not your traditional tools, because this guy, I started to think like that, like this guy's got more traditional. No, he's not a handyman. He's just trying to be as handy, but he's more time cleaning up. So I practiced. I did that dress on Thursday and Friday with the tool belt, so I could still be physical in what I needed to be. Okay. Friday was more dress for me on two fronts. I'm supposed to wear a moustache that I can't glue on because my character removes it.
Rip it off. Oh no!
So
why don't you just grow one and shave it really quickly.
No.
And then grow it again the next night.
Definitely no. CGI doesn't work in theatre.
CGI doesn't work in theatre. Just a projection.
We could feed them all liquor and just tell them no. So
projection that follows your top lip around the whole time.
So I couldn't basically glue it. I had to, and so I've got to know how to put the tape on and how to use what sort of tape, how much of it, because it's got to stay on when I'm being physical, but then I've got to be able to rip it off. Exactly. So that was what Friday was. I know, right? Things you got to do as an actor.
Yep.
So it was the tool belt and the moustache that got the workout on the Friday for me, and one of the costume changes, which is pretty full on. So in terms of the time it takes, but the time I don't have to change as I come back through the door.
Yeah, right.
To get to my cue. So hectic. So that got. I had plenty. The reason I did that last week is because it gives me some time if it doesn't work to fix it and try a few different things.
Yep.
And then so I could move into the dress and tech run of that last on Sunday comfortably, knowing that all my choices are going to be okay, and let's just commit and go for it.
Nice.
Friday was a bit rough and tumble. There were bits like I'm sitting there, right? And I'm waiting for my first cue. And it was a theatre space we had at because there were a couple of graduates from AFTT who were able to secure a room there to rehearse. Mm-hmm. They also have a theatre, and the theatre was available, and we checked, and we could rehearse in that space. So great, more room. And I wanted to, in my mind, do it as though there's an audience there. So I'm behind stage. So I'm backstage and I'm listening, and they went off script. And then went back to script, but at a time when my second cue to come in.
Weird.
So yeah, look, it happens because basically it's fast paced, it's fast, it's comedy, and they got a bit flustered, and then it happened, and I'm listening to my second cue, but I haven't even come in for my first, one is very crucially leading to the other because I've got to be introduced through the front door, for example, and then come running out of the bathroom door as my second. So.
It'd be funny if it just...
So Max, in my mind, just went there. They're not going to go back to that and redo that. So when it came to my first cue, rocked and rolled, and then
your second cue.
First cue.
Oh, yeah.
And then second cue, knowing it wasn't coming, I just had to sort of squeeze through just a random walkthrough.
Oh, yeah.
To get to the third cue, which was on...
Stage.
Yep. So the feedback after, and there was a couple that missed cues altogether, and it was really rough.
Yeah, I mean, usually that's quite stressful, obviously, but I think that's also the fun part of theatre.
Exactly.
As well.
Exactly.
Trying to figure out problems that arise.
Exactly, and I think with different levels of experience, some were more surprised by how off it felt.
Yeah,
and immediately went to, oh my God, there are dire consequences for how next week's going to go. And before we'd walked out the front door and got notes, I was already listening to conversations like, oh my God, we so desperately need that Tuesday rehearsal before Wednesday, and we need to do that. and I'm just like, you know, I'm one lent on me quite a bit for nerves, and I've sort of sent a message going, look, there were some great bits that I hadn't made those choices before. I'm gonna use.
Yeah.
Because it freed us up and we could have a play. There was some that felt off, but I feel like it'll all come together for Sunday.
Yeah.
And sure enough, exactly. And so some just weren't quite that experienced.
Literally
so
the week out, it's
my God, it's going to bomb. Oh my God, what are we going to do? We're going to have to choose. And I'm in my mind thinking, oh, now I'm going to have to go to a full run on Tuesday before I have to commit to 4 runs in a row. And we're going to have to do Monday, and I can't do Monday because I got this meeting. I'm like, oh my God, So in my mind, I had a little bit of chaos from their chaos, but I'm like, no worry. And sure enough, Sunday everything came together. Yeah, and it worked
literally
seamlessly.
Always, every show the week before,
even
everyone's
now,
like, it's not going to work.
We're still juggling messages like, oh, do we catch up on the Tuesday or should we catch up earlier?
As in today?
Today. And still like, oh, maybe we should catch up earlier the night of to do a warm up. So can you imagine this, right? Going somewhere to do the warm up. Then you get in your car and you drive to the theatre, and then I'm like, no. You
need that.
So I'm off that day up to call time. I can't do it. As it happens, I've got voiceover that I need to be in the studio for because it's a directed session, which is where I do my voiceover and someone's watching me like via Skype.
What's that for?
A corporate gig.
Nice.
So that way they can, give me feedback live and I can record it, send it away.
Nice.
So I need to be there at that time. Sometimes voiceovers, well, not most of the time, you can do it.
It's also paid,
but
absolutely. To what you have to.
Yeah. So anyway, other times there's rare times you've actually got to be in the studio at a certain time, and they're overseas, so even more particular. So that aside, I'm not going to be there, and I don't, and again, like my character isn't bouncing around with a huge ball of energy to start with either.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable to do my vocal warm-ups, to do my warm-up in my time.
Yep.
Again, I'm comfortable to lend myself to the cast for the greater good, to let's do a group. If that's what you guys all want me to do, I will do that.
Yep.
But it'll be from the call time. And remembering that there's 2 plays every night, so you don't have a lot of time to do that sort of stuff as well. So I think we're set up now for success where those that want to do a warm-up before together, whatever, over pizza and beer or whatever, can do that and then turn up and be ready to go. But I'm comfortable with what I've got. It's just funny. Different people, different levels of experience.
100%.
Different types of meltdowns.
I think,
Sunday saw a bit of that. Almost some tears.
Really? Yeah.
Someone had to walk away from stage at once to have a little scream outside and then come back. And, it's just
I think some group stuff's good. Like, I always feel like do it, but then a lot of the time you need your own kind of warm up in your own head.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to get out of your head to do group stuff, but just be ready and focused.
Exactly, and do what you need to do because
and it's hard
you're
to do
the
that
one
in a
that
group
stands
setting.
there.
Yeah.
You're the one.
You're the one being stared at.
So it's been an interesting ride. It's been great fun. I'm lucky to have a good cast, great directors, and the producers who have stuck by it through the plague. I mean, to have
over a year now, right?
Yeah. So four plays to organise.
Yeah.
That are performed within 2 weeks.
Oh.
During a play.
The same crew.
And all sold out.
Same director.
Same producers.
Oh my God.
Same producers.
Well, that's exciting.
And each producer is also directing one of the plays. Then there are other directors. So it's it's a lot, right?
That is a lot.
For independent theatre, kudos to them. I can't believe I don't think I've said enough. Kudos to them because 4 plays within 2 weeks and all sold out. It's a brilliant story.
It's a good achievement.
But a lot of hard work to get there.
100%.
So not next week. Next week will be another update, but the week after, I'll let you guys know how it went, the ups, the downs, the could have beens, the should have beens, the amazingness,
the rounds,
and I'll tell about my character Hank.
Yes.
Fun times. Until then, I think that's all we've got time for.
That's all we got time for.
So make sure you subscribe on your favourite podcast platform. Don't forget our YouTube channel, and you'll hear us next week. Bye.
See ya.
2 unemployed actors.